Today we'll use this period of time to have a teaching about how to become a Buddhist. And before the actual teaching, I would like to make a short announcement, which is, first of all, we don't have class tomorrow, and tomorrow would be the wheel turning day of Shakyamuni Buddha. So for those of you who have the opportunity, I really hope that you take this opportunity to practice, to chant the Samatha Bhadra's good aspiration of good action all together, all day long, if you have such opportunity. And I know many of you probably don't have much to do. And tomorrow would be Sunday. Lots of you are off. It's a holiday. And tomorrow is a wonderful day to practice good actions. And according to color chakra calendar as well as the Tibetan calendar, it is said that it's a wonderful and a very auspicious day. According to Ponsokar Rinpoche, he said that on this specific day it is best to then genuinely make aspiration. For people who are here to practice, I really think that it is quite important to practice diligently, to participate in the 4 sessions of practice. And for those of you who are not here, you can practice through online methods. And I really hope that you really then seize such opportunity and practice tomorrow. Because some of the special days, if you make aspirations and so on, the blessings are even much more stronger. Therefore, it is best to spend such time to practice. Next Tuesday and Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to give you the oral transmission and teaching on the 7 points of mind training. I'm not entirely sure about what I'm going to teach on Wednesday and Thursday yet, but I know that I will give you the teaching on Pamasambhava, and I will give you a teaching on the practice of Pamasambhava. Today, I don't think that we have no air conditioning, and it's rather quite warm over here. It's really good to sit a little bit sparse. And at the beginning, I'll give you the oral transmission of the Nongdro practice of Nyingma, which is composed by Mipo Rinpoche, the illuminating the path of liberation. It is best to receive as many oral transmissions as possible, especially when the teaching coming from Mipo Rinpoche, his Vajra words, his indestructible words. I was then reading into the teachings of Ponsokar Rinpoche earlier, and he said that the blessings of Mipo Rinpoche is incredibly the blessing of that is incredibly strong, and that's why I want to give you this oral transmission, as well as the 37 practices of Bodhisattva. I think I've given the oral transmission before, but taking this opportunity, I will still give you this oral transmission again, probably just 10 minutes, and just listen closely. I'm not entirely sure how long, but roughly. I'll give you the Tibetan. I'll give you the oral transmission in Tibetan language. Just listen. You may read if you want to, if you feel that this 10 minutes is extremely long. But the most important is that you should then really abide in that sound. Do not doze off or anything. The requirements for listening to our transmission is not that high. As long as you're listening to it, it's good enough. So now this is our transmission.
담주 돈 시브르 신지로 물강 땅보 디제 담짓 머떡 로진 노제 강라 삼전 지비진 처왕의 장남지 재미지 동지 샘지랑 고코네서 멍강도네 바다정라 꿈적근 디라메 머떡 제와 잠브르 신지로 물강 니바고 카르놀렘제 나면 쳇마자 dim제로 아메 빌람델 콘담냥 데비 추즈나 랑션 랑라 브링이나요 서전 머니지 또 서전 지뎀 머니 다정라 꿈적근 디라메 드지도 강도론 오게도론도 지브르 신지로 아무튼 선바고 조바 가비등을 망당 데르나 일린 게라전 접지 폼폼 다도 등을 강슴 고라메 이곰자와 때르면 시적던 덕적라 꿈족건 디블라메 드제등 임종 삼바티 어르신지로 무강 지바고 데네 덤만 건주 잡선조와 남던 덕선 전지 야르가니 회스 전지 라마도르지 어르진좀 비빌라마 예덤 칸루 거름 던더 톰족 되었음 게 산제나마 예스냐 젠도 도전 바바조 야도선로 라무 남바장 용던 조지 냐노 겐던담 다고리 이시 주종 조금데 조지 되었음 자베 담지가 마자메 바터 콘타르자뱀던 랑당 마속도 지jem 가지 셈쟁 근지 돈데 틴데네 존저 준년 보리 진족보다 남기요네 남가 강화 남아야돔 간로 존음도 선지제 넘바바 간라도당 조르기 베자즘제 전메지 울로장네 셈전 담접되어서 제르바서지 호디오섬 호지르디오섬 겨라지지 잔종은 뒤진데 바도 도장 가지고 조금 자리줄라면 조조장도 셈께도 넘범레비지서 생각지 셈께들는 도dom다 유sem전에 손제엠발아 엠르지비 도녀도 정도 셈께도 만들송고 나 우마오 좀냠니 줄기정 라나만 그런 기능이 좀 가져 줄기정 그거바 남건섬 주 그쯤 건섬대 좀 저비 전도 몸자 라나만자람 반자마가 사마자사바라나마 도르sem나 아 donjozdan 아다던도 활동 도지 생활다음도 도지 전전이마 연도 전로기 지좀 도지 특거를 다던 홍라 이기고로 도지 두저도 버저 도지 전고네 돈베 아무제지 전나요 만들 사도 사면만 바라 만들 사도 디노바디라로메바 소도 가요메바 나로도메바 소고 가요메바 소라서도 맘자서 소라 그러면 사미저로 그런 하 반소로도 너거들 남들 맘자 반드로 바와 마하사메사도 암고모 돈는 메실 몬바이 담들하는 가자님 라몬 공부 좀도 적소 도진 좀 바데 되지도 로소랍더 좀 집도던 셈전담 지금론 되지자와 양로가 담든 냠자 담자 돌로 식소 득종일 동점이 도담집 장정 더번 자도 소리지 소라다 벼도지선 회자내리 기회 주기 담든 냠자 담자 더바야노지 하나 제네랄라 템베 랑동 셈전담 lama durji senworin geru zanla umbanzirsa 동반들서 교환대 임렬도 durji senwan dribjirnen roakchi jamali bate izalango brjogda zemjedamji jidamzingyam jogando ndane janjurnyam buru damzinam tagbur shogo jizo monoda bo sa blami namjurno ma o rana dabaram jinjeng zoran durji namjurma jo jirden yarno damno jane gandi ornyo durji jakar marjendo Durje toyumlu lorgi jezo durje emdan rırkızlar galar anjon jirden gurustar lamam kan rotam jimje turki konşu avjin jibernga ulan tenji yiji ba chartra bab kumbisten latam honurje gene jonzo bamma gezir dom bolayam zum jogongur bamam joni jizran gordon kan romam bugur geji jizu doruje shinjir labje jongara bamma sar don honurje gene jonzo bamma gezir dom bolayam zum jogongur bamam joni jizran gordon kan romam bugur geji jizu doruje shinjir labje jongara bamma sar don honurje gene jonzo 밤마께서 돈벌아 염증 적응을 하니 밤만 정도 지스런 고동관로만 보고 지지 도로 주신질 납지서 그러 밤마서도 홍 지츠도 소는데 후든 남숨 견정으로 때문에 양로든 바 오르드니 리드르 기베 점들로 나도 주전 검점 저 빔저 저런에서 Продуктон жимчи шаган конда 계속 간라 지연은 조금 저도 저렇게 주는 사지 주진 걸로 거도 계속 말이 산지 도시를 뭐 소라다바노 너 저거냐 거 부장도 그래서 그도 뒤지 지라된 자면한테 저도 나저 른좀 간로만 보고 지고는 밤만 정는 길라 소라소란데 우리 밤만 정는 라소란 달라만 그르신지 랍도 소라 지모 그 동식 저벽 소라도 비 고즈르 데스 진지 쇼네 원 그르신지 라브라산라 어자야 오리겐 다 예담 강로 예르메 빌라미 남저라 호엠도 나스탐드 소 소라다라 데전 옥신지 시도 데전 다르 왕지 렘바나 다면은 좀 얘기좀 좀 내고서 가는 당선 전에 저런 거는 좀 템신지 라리엄 라만 거지고 되전 삼배남네 그 틀렸던 라미 특당랑서 예르메는 3년이 맞추긴 주바지도 왕지 람좀 종종 급좀 원기를 신로 원거도 버려 삼라 오마온 바드는 거라바 마서도 거라바 마서도 티와근데 연도라마도 그러면 추지화라 롱전은 사단 람지 연도라도 도르진 청고고 몸녀도 쇼 지속 모노다 버셔 응원중도 라마마 너는 마밤자호로 디비 데바 게르금 베르망가 람
That was the path, the illuminated path to liberation, and now this is the oral transmission of 37 practices of Bodhisattva. I've given this before, but this time I'm giving it again because the 37 practices of Bodhisattva is a crucial text to read every day and practice every day. The content of this particular text is quite important for all of us to practice. For those of you who may think that 37 practices are a little too much still, but then at least you can practice 5 or 6. There are people who have great faith. And there are people who are quite artistic and very feely touchy, but they don't have lots of the analytical thinking or the other way around. But as Buddhists, we need to have both aspects. We need to have faith and we need to have analytical logic, and that's how we can tread on the path of Buddhism. And if we can read and chant and practice the 37 practices of Bodhisattva, then it would be really helpful towards your path. Also, I think this is included in your chanting books, as this is quite a popular text. For lots of you who are beginners, maybe you don't really know the content of it or some of the verses at the beginning. This oral transmission is the oral transmission that you should receive as many as possible so that you can give rise to bodhicitta.
대이 럭lên ragla 대이 실라 ragla be jate namji 럭lên shabrasha tamjo chachen nyaka to tindar dazan kol sole jarchi jiren nyam zano yerame bana nyasum kumar jate lo nyinjin cholan do chidro dai chola jetang me londur jebe tam mano ja pair pawar jate 럭lên yeringin pangwe nyumung ramjin de namame be gebjong ngam ruba tang chilang ji wenba tember jate 럭lên ron robum zabji zo zo namba be ruba nor ji jerdan ligim jong na jim jom be no lo don jate 럭lên kana dona do zom ban jere to ngom ja nyam je Shandar Nature Virgin Jung Morja Lena Yen Kajing Bazon, Kajik Tena Nibazanjir on the Yarmur Latter Major Version and Dumber and Gully Young number Jetty Lola Ram Kurun Juba in Jitan is Juber. Teacher can have Jamnam, Kumsum to Jetty Lola, Sanders of Kudungun was on the Baligim Driver to Bezon to Slow and to be now Michi Jetty. To some devices, some chicken, Chujer now, Major Daru Kumbajo, Donna Nera Jetty Lola and Tomedina Dollar. 말은 등나 도대 지지 대신 타이 sem좀 자주죠. sem좀 라네 등을 말이 도도 도버선 지점에서 대비실 도대 전지 등을 당연도 저 제체 럭len 연나 도도 정원 것도 그는 탄주 조금 증나요. 내가 농식게 어디 대랑고 제체 럭len 돌아 니바 좀 매진다 간다 조금 거 주시나요. 현재 원그 뒤도 반은 돌아는 제체 럭len Gajik Dala Marina Zuba Tom Jabajana, Shamazin, then on the Jabajan and Roman Disposition. Sanem Jijan Single Mana, Delagi Shiban Digi, keeper on the Bajaji Lolin, the Bojan Superjan, the larger Davjana, Najiba Dam, Helper Third Jet Lolin, Random Yamba Mambertio, and Arjarongo to Jana, Lama, the Kibetoni to Shuval and Berjet. So a Ponsang start the main, Sapchin, Natan, Dunji, Tapjan, Ladder, broken to the lunch in Janjamami Bajet Lolin, Number Job and Namdo and Nojo, stupid one. Kambame Bajet Lolin, Rangajet, Maternal General, Shamda, Nyanjim by Ranjit. There are jet alone in Rajajet Yondo beyond the Lances, Japan, Colleges, Bono, Talapon, jet alone, no, the Torang semi 22 that Tinisino, Zuntamana, Yulam, jet alone, Yerdon Japan, Edgy Zipperno, Timberman, of more jet alone, doing now, Western Mountain General Japan, Toronto. Shannon the Billy John Tongona, Bonala, Mucho, the General, none, Jimbo, jet in a certain Dobe, around the Madame Japan, the Mame, certain dry jet alone, gave a notion of jet, notion of the Generalization of Badon, Gola measure London, Zonda and Rogodondo, and Johnny, jet alone, and New number of Jean to Michel on the Bell, some Jetelon, Jeremy Power General Tatan Dungeon, Cortum Marto, Jetela, Rangatura, Chuba Ziggy, Jomajan, the bed in the Rangatura, Tony Moore Jetelo, and Yumonga Jetan, Nibanon, Donia, Tobacella Zipin, Gons of Cannibal Jetelo, and Nipper Wonga Pans and Zojan to Tungumisha, Yam Generation. The victim of John General, Jamal Jetelon, and the Moses Johnson, Generation, Jerry, Yam Jerry, the more to the point, Jetan Yamogum, a nimble look at it, a nimble zone, Johnson, Johnson, Motomaki, Jetelon, and Donakan, General, and John Regent the Tanda, Shijan done by us and the Jetelon, there's some and Tainroad. Course number of the Jerry Johnson, Jetelon, and I'm to Tom Journal, but Tombanam Gibson, Jetelon, and some. Jetelam la lom to no go to mansion Jean Chivision, Kibati Division Marsham, don't Tambi from la Tambi Jetelon and Terminal of the one jet by Latin of Law and Dante Tampo Cavision, Gardan Mamre last one you bet to Tambanam Zuban television, giving Joaquin Tondom Consumption to Central Costunajan, Sherrys and Content on Jumber Jo, Jiba and Ranjan and Pambi. Tunda, London, Rigbarma, Zambato, making a Chiranjan, Jarva, Sancho, Jolombo, Martiban, Jivania Mamma, Kono, the marriage. On the Tivitia, Damjatan Turion, no Dover came out on the Chudam treasure. Sarah Jimad on the Chudam treasure to Laro Berjote on la Madame Janian and Zamachula, Jabaju, Don and Yambo, don't do this in the Tribune. Trumba the major of Dodges and Dollar, may buy Lajan, show him by Tamchi, Jizon, Tober, show, Carmara, Marmeta, Jamin, Dimas, Ratcher, Dormal, down Trenta. Division, Theatre, Chunum Tamchi, Division, Digitation shopping. Jelan Bakan about Gajon Chimbon, Durkson, the Bajam, Majan, Gavapazum, Soba, Rankasem, Neon, Danasan, Tambayan, Jerome Bochel, also running Gartin, the new Sambanjabadam, Chodon to Mongo to Sur. Oh,
Originally, I was going to give you only 40 minutes of teaching, but unexpectedly, I've already spent 25 minutes in giving you the oral transmission and a very short teaching in between, an explanation in between. I believe many of you have already chanted for the entire day. You probably feel already quite tired, therefore I'm not going to spend lots of time talking. But this is quite a rare opportunity, very difficult to gain. Therefore, it is quite important to cherish this opportunity, especially when we have the opportunity to be here to practice, to have this opportunity to be here. So I thought it would be wonderful to give you a teaching on this day. And today the topic is how to become a Buddhist. I think majority of you feel that I'm already a Buddhist. I've been a Buddhist for a long time. What's the point of listening to this class? And there are people who feel that I'm already a Buddhist, but I'm still studying. I need more study. The practitioners in our audience, as well as all of our audience, I believe a majority of you have already made an auspicious connection to the Dharma, which is difficult to encounter for thousands of eons. Therefore, it is quite important to cherish, to protect such kind of connection. In our limited lifetime, maybe there are many kinds of gains, but out of all the gains, studying the Dharma and making connection to the Dharma is the most valuable. When we depart from this world, the only thing that could benefit us, the only thing that follows us is our mind. We cannot take our body, we cannot take our wealth, we cannot take our fame with us. So it's only the mind that will go with us. We came to this world naked. We're going to leave this world naked. We cannot bring any of our clothing or any of our wealth, not even a dime. At the end, we'll just depart from this world naked. In Larungar, we have eternal ground, and if you want to die and celebrate your death and have such a ceremony, I know that lots of tourists would go there and take photos only. According to Shantideva, he said, through the body, through giving the body, offering your body to the vultures, through watching it and seeing it, you know that that's it. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, at the end, it's all in equanimity. In the eternal ground, if you want to be buried over there through such a method, then you can offer 20 RMB, and later it raised to 50, and now it's 80 RMB. So it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, all you need to offer at the end is 80 RMB to get your sky burial. There are people who then came with lots of cars and sent the body to eternal ground, but then that's it. After attending such a sky burial, the living ones will depart with the dead ones over there. Similarly, in mainland China, if you want to get a cremation, then all you need to do is to pay the cremation place the same amount, the set amount, and that's it. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, there's no difference in it. And then, at that time, the only refuge, when you depart from this world, the only refuge, the only thing that could protect you are the three jewels. I genuinely feel this way. In my opinion, I see that in life, you may have wealth, you may have fame, you may have great relationships, but at the end, what's the most important is virtuous deeds. And that's the most worthy ones at the end of your life. So the first thing I would like to say is that what we really need at the end of our life, what's the most important thing that we carry in our life till the end. Nowadays, people have lots of misunderstandings about Buddhism. Some people feel that, well, I'm already Buddhist, or I'm already a monastic. And then after that, that's it. There's no more pursuit. Everyone would say that, oh, I'm Buddhist. And there are people who said that I'm very Buddhist-like. They carry a kind of attitude of whatever it is, it is. In fact, if you're a genuine Buddhist, the true spirit of Buddhism is completely different. Let it be Hinayana, or let it be Shravaka, or let it be the Mahayana practitioners. In fact, they're all very diligent. The mundane beings, maybe they get really lazy and they get rather quite relaxed most of the time. They enjoy that kind of relaxation. But Buddhists, the genuine Buddhists, they pursue for high level of attainment or high level of spiritual pursuit. The kind of practitioner that I described, who call them Buddhist-like, in fact, when they take such kind of mentality of saying whatever will be attitude, it is in Buddhism called as the shameful ones. And the people call themselves in such a way because they don't understand what Buddhism is. The value system in Buddhism is very different than majority of people take it. What's the most important, what's the core of Buddhism value? That is taking refuge in three rules. Nowadays, the pervading mentality is anxiety and avoidness, a sense of confusion and lack of security. There's no place for them to rely upon. And when they feel that there's no place to rely upon, let it be the family, parents, or relatives, usually what we do is that we place great hope on them. And then later on, such kind of great hope would become the cause of great disappointment. And then at that moment, they would feel extremely despair and feel saddened. And then they would then adapt really unreasonable actions. There are nowadays people who have this fragment heart, fragile mind that is not strong at all. Whatever small obstacles arise, then they will be completely beaten up and their heart will be shattered. Nowadays, in this materialistic world, it's very utilitarian, very material-focused world. If people get really despair about this reality, then they may adapt really unreasonable actions such as suicide. A little while ago, there was a student, I think a PhD student, who after produced the essay, and research essay, the professor then wanted to publish it, but the student at the last minute figured out that there was some numbers that was wrong. And then the professor didn't agree with him and published the essay. The student couldn't take it anymore and committed suicide. This is quite obscure. This is such a small thing that happened, and then he couldn't take it and committed suicide. Nowadays, this all-pervading mentality is that right is right and wrong is wrong. There is a clear line, clear boundary between it. People tend to take it that I am completely right and you're completely wrong, and would push and would complain to the others. But when others cannot fulfill whatever you need, you would feel that you would feel completely despair and disappointed, and some university students who adopt such kind of mentality very easily would commit suicide. the insecurity that is pervading this society. On one hand, how people how people work with that is to then rely upon their companion, their wealth, and their family. Just as some people feel that if I have money, then I have no problem. And another group of people may feel that if I have someone to rely upon, if I have a good companion, then I would have no problem at all. In fact, with or without such a kind of object of refuge is not reliable. The most reliable refuge place is the Three Jewels. We should know why it is that the Three Jewels are the most reliant refuge place. We should know the blessings and strength of Three Jewels. So, Three Jewels. What does it mean? I think once you take refuge in the Three Jewels, you won't feel a great void in your heart anymore. You won't feel so lonely anymore. And I'm not saying this because I'm wearing this red robe and I'm trying to then sell this idea. The people nowadays say that, are you trying to then exaggerate in this fact and sell it? I'm not trying to sell it. I'm not a merchant. I'm not here to sell you this idea in this red robe, but deep from my heart, I feel that people nowadays, they don't have a place that they feel safe to rely upon. They don't have security. They don't have confidence. I think if people would take Three Jewels as a refuge place, maybe at the beginning you don't see the merit of it, but slowly you will understand that, well, without the blessings of Three Jewels, I will be suffering in this world. And now because I have the blessings of Three Jewels, I have at least the Three Jewels, even if I'm feeling suffering, even if there are some problems, but at least that there is some place that I feel I can rest, and some place that I feel safe to rely upon. As in the history, the Three Jewels, the jewel of Buddha, the jewel of Buddha is the Buddha Shakyamuni, and then the jewel of Dharma is the Tripitaka and the 12 Shastras. And then the Sangha, the jewel of Sangha is the Arhats and Bodhisattvas. And from the aspect of from the deeper meaning underneath of what the jewel of Buddha is that the jewel of Buddha is the enlightened one, the jewel of enlightened one, and the jewel of Dharma is the teaching that's taught by the Buddha. And what it was, the teaching taught by the Buddha was the truth.
它叫做是真理。
So
以前西方有个科
the
学家叫做
jewel
苏
of
洛，是
Dharma
吧？
is the
就是他
truth.
说过，实
I
践
think
的这
there
个
was a
爱情也
scientist in the
好，这
West.
个名声
He
也好，
said
财富
something
也
like
好，
this.
实际
I'm
上是都比不上
paraphrasing.
真理。
He said
啊，
that
这个真理呢，
the
确实是
love
非常这
and
个
wealth and
有
fame
意义的。
in
当
this
然，这个
world
真理
are
呢，就是
nowhere to
就
compare
只有在这
to
个
the
少数人
truth
的这
in
个
this
数量。
world.
以前那
And
个伽利
truths
略，
are
就是
only
他
in
也
the
是
hands
说
of
过
the few.
这个我
Same
们
as
这个越来越
Galileo.
翻滚，越来越
Galileo
反
said
对
that
的
the
时候
more
呢，其实
you
这个真理
compete
呢
or
就
the
是
more
越
you
来越展
debate,
现，就显得更
you
明
will be
显。
able to
所
see
以
the truth
我们
more clearly.
真正的这个佛法，真正的这个佛法是
So
什么
what
呢？就
is
是这个所
the
谓的这个
real
佛法呢，就是
Dharma?
应该是有一种真
Dharma
理。
is
这
the
种
truth.
真理呢，就是跟其他的有些这个宗
And
教
this
所
kind
教
of
导的
truth
这个
are
他
a
们的
bit
这个
different
教义呢，
than
也许有不同
the
吧，
ones
也许有
that's
不同。
taught in
所以呢，
other
我
religions.
们经
Maybe
常说
they're
这个作
different.
为佛教徒的话呢，
So,
一定要这个
according
文思
to
修行啊。
So
没有
I
文
think
思
a
修行
Buddhist
呢，
should
表面上
really
就是办个什么
spend
归
time
正啊，
in
然后就是
studying,
就刚才就是
contemplating
很多人
and
我也要
practice.
个取个法名，取个法名都可以。我这边有好多
Many
的法
people
名
ask
额
me that
啊，
I
就
want
这
to get a
这个
Dharma
是
name.
都没
That's
什么问
fine.
题
I can
因为
give you
这
a
个
Dharma name
就
as
跟大家什么什么
it's
什么
really
元
easy.
音、元堂、
There
元
are
显、元
the
宁等等的，就
many
是这样的
names
话
I
都
have
可以，
in
就
the
是
cards.
取法门就是很
It's
重要的
very
啊。
easy. It's not the
就
most important.
也很重
Well,
要，
it's
也不重
important
要，
and
这
not
没啥，
important.
对吧？
Well,
但是呢，更
What's the
重要的
most
是什么呢？
important?
就是要懂到这
The
个
most
这个佛教的
important
这
is to
个教义
understand the
啊，就佛教的
doctrine
教义。
of
如果佛教
the
的教义没有懂的话呢，
Buddha's teaching.
就跟我这
Without
个什么身份证、
understanding
银行
this,
卡、
then
会议
then
证
this
什么
card
全部
is
都
no
堆在一起
other
一大
than
堆
your
的话，
bank
那也没
cards,
什么
than
用。
your ID
最
cards,
根本
than
的话
your
呢，我们绝对
bus
是懂到
cards.
这个佛教的教义。
So the
这
most
个佛教的
important
教
is
义
not
呢，
to get
实际上
all
是
of
一种真
these.
理。
The
这
most
种真理
important
呢，
is
不
to
是
get
呢
the
这个无
truth
缘无
of
故、
the
平白无故就
Buddhism
得到的。那通过
doctrines.
什么样的方式得到
And
呢？
you can't
就
get
是
it
说这个
just
文思修
by
行。首
relaxing
先呢，
and
应该
doing
是
nothing.
多
You
听
can
闻
only
就是这个
pursue
高僧
this
大德也
truth
好，
by
老师也好，有
studying,
经验的这个，不管
studying
是出家
from
人、在家人，就是
monastic or
有
lay
些讲的非常
practitioner,
好，有些倒是
studying from
乱
the
讲，
ones
就
who have
像我一
already
样的，就胡说
attained
八道
some kind
的，
of
也有这样的。
realization.
但有
They're
些
the
是
ones
确
who
实是
didn't,
把
who
这个
doesn't
佛教
really
的
teach
真
well
正的
like
这个
me,
教义
like
啊，就是
myself,
讲的很好的。
humbly
那么这样
speaking.
的话呢，
And
比如说我们
there
这个
are
平
people
常
who
呢，就是要
speak
求大
very
家学
well.
习什么这个如菩萨行论也
But
好，
most
亲友书也
important, I
好，
would
然
suggest
后这
that
个大
you
圆满
could
前
spend some
行也好，
time in
还有
studying
很多很多的这
Bodhisattva
个先宗密宗的，就是这些法呢，一定要
Charyavatara
听闻
and
没有
words
听
of
闻
my
的话呢，
perfect
就是光
teacher
是
and
办
so
个皈
on.
依证啊，或者是
Those
我
kind
是
of
佛教
teachings
徒
are
啊，
really
就是这样
important.
就没有
That's
什么
passed
用
it
的。
down
这
from
个
the
第一个是
previous
听闻
lineage
很重要的。
masters.
然后第二个呢，
So
就是
listening is quite
就要
important.
就要
Without
进行
listening,
思维，
without
就是对
studying,
这些
how
发
could
言
you
呢，
understand
不
what
是什么
Dharma is?
啊，就是老师说了
Second
就对
part
了，
is
上师说了就对了，
contemplation.
就不行的。我们每一个人通过自己的这个
Contemplation
思
is
考、去
extremely
研究、
important.
去
You
分
have to
析、去辩
reflect
论、去
upon
探
all
讨
of these
啊，
teachings
我
that
都
you
有时候
studied
我
before.
们晚上这边这
You
个
can't
或者
just
是白天
agree
呢，就是有一些
blindly.
年轻人呢，就是他们都开始在学习这个佛法的过程当中辩论的很激
In
烈啊，
over
就是辩
here,
论。
there
我有
are
时候
lots of
偷
people
听
who
的
would
时候呢，就是有
debate
些辩论
very
的特别好，就是还是
vigorously,
因为在年轻时候
especially the
你
young
所有的这
ones.
些智慧全部就是
Lots
这
of them
个
did a
来
great
这个
job
互相
in
探讨，这
debating.
是一个非常幸福
In
的事
fact,
情。
when
也许
you're
这些
still
人
young, when
以
you're
后
still
这个在
energetic,
自己
and
不
you still
同的
have
这
the
个地方活化
opportunity
年
to
深的
study
时候
the
呢，就是
Dharma,
感觉是这样
and you
的。年
debate
轻时
about
候
the
的这个
truth,
文思
that's
是非常
such a
非常有
wonderful
意义的，
thing.
这叫做思维。这种思维呢，
So
其他有些教义是
debating
不同的，
and
就是其他有
constantly
些教义的哦，
reflecting
你
upon
相
the
信这个
teaching,
就可以了，
this
别的
is
嘛，就是
called
什么。我们不是这样
contemplation.
的，释迦牟尼佛就说
This
是
is
你
very
如果
different
有
than
道理的话，你
the
可以信
other
主；没有道
than
理
some
的
other
话，不用
religions,
信。
because
我
some
们藏
other
传佛教的每
lots
一
of
个
other
教派当
religions
中
they
的
would
话，
say that
也
all you
要
need
求
to do
大
is
家
just
辩
to
论，通
believe believe it
辩论来抉
and
择，抉
make
择以后呢，
supplication
你
and
再可
pray.
行的。
But in
这个叫做
Buddhism, we
思
say
维。
that you
那
need to debate,
真正
you
的这
need
种
to ask
这个法
questions,
的
you
意义呢，
need
要
to
修辞，
then
修
ask
辞的话当然是
questions.
包罗万象，非常多的。
So
但是
after that,
主要
what do you
这
do?
个
After
修行
you
的话
ask
呢，
all the
就挑
questions,
拨
all
自己
your
的性
questions
啊，
are
就是释迦牟尼
then
佛的
withered
这个
away
教法是
because
什么呢？
you've
诸我
finally
我
honed
众
your
善奉行，
wisdom.
自净其
At the
身
end,
佛教。
you would
那就
practice.
什么？端出
As
这个
the
始终不散发，就是心
Buddha
之始
said
终不
that
散
it
发。
is
然
quite
后最根本的呢，
important
我们这
to
个自净其
then
啊，每个人呢就是自相续当中
give up all the
很多
evil
的这种
actions
这个烦
to
恼啊，就
practice
是
all
那么
virtuous
这些呢，
actions
就是
and
逐渐
to
让他清
purify
净，
one's
让他能够
mind.
效
That's
法，
what the
让他
Buddhas
呢
taught.
就
So you
去
have
对
to
峙。我们刚
practice.
开始的
You
时候，
have
每个
to
人的的
practice
确是有
against your
很
habitual
多的这个
patterns.
贪嗔
The
痴慢
habitual
疑
pattern
等
of the
等
three
的，
poisons,
有
the
很
three
多的
poisons,
这
the
个烦恼
greed,
啊这样的。
the
然后通过这个
anger,
佛教的这种
doubt,
方法来慢慢
ignorance,
挑战的时候，
and
真的思想
arrogance.
序当中
All
的
of these
这
kind
种
of
就像
habitual
是那
patterns
个
that we need
无
to
云就是揭开一盒
work
的这种太阳一样的，
against
就慢
of
慢
that
就是
grain.
还是修行和不修
And
行是有非常
slowly,
大的这
when
个
you
差
could
别
work
啊
in
就是
such a
那
way,
么
you
平
would
时修行的人
change
呢，他
your
面对
mentality
同
and
样
your
的一个问
mind.
题，
Your
但
whole
是对
being
他
would
来讲呢，就是这
transform
件事情
because
是
of
非常的
such
这个简
practice.
单啊。比如说他家里的认识了，他自己
People
身
who
体特别的痛
practice,
苦，他
when they
这个
encounter
这
difficulty,
个家里
when
啊，
they
就是什么
encounter
这个
difficult
欠
problems
欠
in
欠
their
欠就
life,
是特别多啊。现在好像
when
很多企业的有时候
the
是
people,
确实
when
这
their
个
relatives
经济上啊，
die
就是
in their
有些人
family,
就是特别的
or
不乐
when
观，
they
就
get
是然后呢
bankrupt,
欠别人的钱
maybe they
呢，
were
自己也
really
是不
rich
知
at the
道就是
beginning and
怎
then
么
get
办，就是
bankrupt
然后有时候
out of
好像在这个人
the
世间
blue,
当中的
and
话呢，
then
就是实在是
they
走投
feel
无路
that
了。我都遇
there
到过
was
特别多的，
nowhere to
有
go,
时候就
when
也
they
是问问
feel
问你
that
啊，就是也
they're
觉得哎呦，
completely
他们
in
真的很
despair.
痛苦的。但是有一些佛教境界的、佛
For
教修行的人
practitioners
呢，他
facing such
同样面对一
situations,
个问题，但这种烦恼呢，
yes, they
他还
feel
是
that they
有
are
能力
difficult to
这
deal
个
with,
解
but
决，至少也是
they
在
have
自
the
己心里
ability
是不会
to,
出现
they
大
have
的
the
这种
capacity
问
to
题。
work with
本
it.
来这个世界
Or
呢，实际呢
to say
也
at
是
least
就是不
they
是很
won't
这个
then
很好，就
take
是
all of
然后
those
如果你的心里
problems
就
to
是
an
再出现一个
extreme
问题的话呢，那
mentally.
就可能是真的是这个
Because if you
就
encounter
或者
problems
说是
externally,
家破人亡啊，
and
或
then
者说是这个
you have some
有
mental
很多的
problem
这种
because
问
of
题会
those,
出现的。在这个时候呢，我觉得我们的
I
这个
really
佛
feel
法呢
that，
我们不说这
Buddhism
个
is really
是
helpful.
后是怎么样的，
I'm
我
not
们不
even
说就是
talking
将
about
来
how
就是怎么样
Buddhism
的。
could help
光
you
今
in
今
your
生
future
当中
lives.
就是对这烦恼方面呢，
Just
佛
in
教有不
this
可思议的
lifetime,
这种威力。
Buddhism
这
has
些呢，
such great
并不是说
power
我
to
就
help
是在
you
这里说说
to
而已，
deal
应该
with all
是
the
这个
obstacles
若人
and
因随，宁愿
problems
自
in
知
this
啊，就是
lifetime.
自己的应该
And
会
this
明
is
白，就
something
是这
that
个
you
道
have
理。
to
其实这就是真
practice
理，
and
就是真正
experience
的
it
真理，
for
它有
yourself.
这样的就是去除烦恼和痛
So
苦的一种作用。因此
Dharma
呢，我
has
像我们这
such
个
kind
皈依
of
这个法，就是皈依
teaching,
法就是
has
是一
such
种
kind
接
of
触真理
power
的意思。
to
然
help
后
you
皈依
to
僧
deal
呢，
with
就是实
all
际
of
上
these
是接触
unexpected
什么呢？就是
obstacles
亲
in
近，就
this
是这
lifetime.
个接触真理者啊，就是有
So
不同
that's the
不同
Dharma.
程度的，就是
And
他们有
then
一些这个真理的
there
领
are
悟，
the
就这个叫
Sangha.
做是
The
这个僧
Sangha
众。
are
当然还
those
有
of
还
the
有另一
people
种方
who
式的话
are
呢，像六祖
the
坛经里面讲
companions
的
on
是
the
这
path
个
that
皈依佛呢，
then
就是
who are
是这个
striving
真
for
啊，
the
就是觉悟，
truth
就是觉
just
悟是
as
自信
you
觉悟，
are.
这是皈依佛。然后
There's
自信
another
正
way
呢
of
就是皈依
explaining
法，
it,
自
that's
信
a
近
deeper
呢
one.
就是皈依僧
The
呢，就是
that
从这
on
个
that level, it is said
究竟
that
意义上面
the
的话呢，就是皈依
jewel
僧方面
of
就是
the
可以
Buddha
这样这
is
个理解的。那么这样
the
的话呢，我们
self
知道这个皈依三宝以后呢，就
awareness,
是确实
and then
对
the
自己
jewel
的
of
这
the
个精
Dharma
神
is
来
the
说呢，
self
就是
is
还是有一定的
the
这个
primordial
这个意
awareness,
义啊，就
and
正因
jewel
为
of the
这样
Dharma is
的
primordial
话呢，就是
wisdom,
莲
and
花生
jewel
大师在那
of
个
the
空心
Sangha
法
Sangha
教
is
里面啊，
primordial
空心法教里
purity.
面呢，就是这样的那个
In
皈依的大概是8个功德吧，就
Pamasambhava's
是8个功
teaching
德。
that's
第一
collected
个
in
功
the
德的话呢，
Dakini
我们这个
teachings,
皈依
it
以后
said
呢，
that
就
there
自
are
己的
8
自
kinds
成
of
呢，
merits.
真正的
The
这个
first one
佛教
is
徒啊，
that
就是皈依佛、皈依法、
after
皈依僧
you
以后
take
呢，
refuge in
我
the
在
three
这个中
jewels,
间的话呢，就是
you
稍
are
微
then
先不
called
讲
a Buddhist.
我看讲功德以后再讲那个然后皈依佛、
After
皈依
you
法以
take
后的话呢，就
refuge,
是有这个真正
then
成为这个
you
佛教
are a
徒。
genuine
阿底峡
Buddhist.
尊者也说
Then
了，
you
就
can
是
be
师父佛
called
教
a
徒呢，就
Buddhist.
是用皈依
As
来取
Atisha
证；
said,
师父这个大乘呢，就是用菩提心来分。所以说，第一个功德的话呢，就是讲到
whether
这
you're
个
a
皈依法
Buddhist,
以后，我们真正成了这个佛教徒。
whether
啊，
you're a
这个一
Buddhist,
定要就记住。
it has
那第二个
to
呢，
be
有了皈依以后的话呢，受任
differentiated
何
by
戒，
whether you
就不
took
管
the
是
refuge
别戒
vow,
多戒、不
whether
杀
you're a Mahayana practitioner, it is
别接受
important to
界当中什么
differentiate
居士
whether
界啊，就
you've
是比丘尼
taken
界、
the
比丘戒
Mahayana
等等，就是这些戒里的话
aspiration.
呢，有狼可以这个受
So
持
the
一切戒的根
second
本，
aspect
这
of
是
the
第二个
merit is that after
那
taking
么第三
refuge,
个功德的话呢，
then you have the
皈
causes
依
to
以后呢，
become
就
a
是削
suitable
弱我们
basis
的
for
这个
all
罪
types
障
of vows.
啊，就是我们以
Pratimoksha
前造
vow,
的
the
罪很
Mahayana
很多
vow, the
很多，然后
Bodhisattva
呢，就
vow,
是皈依以后呢，就
and
是
the
坚
lay
持这种，
practitioner's
甚至我
vow,
们
and
这个
Samaya
如
vow,
果
and so
以
on.
信心来
The
这
third
个
one it
皈依的
says
话呢，
that
那
when a
么
genuine
就是
feeling
将
of
自相续
taking
的这种
refuge has
罪业呢，
arisen,
都这个
karmic
无以尽
obscurations
就
are
乐以尽
utterly
所以
brought to
皈依
an
是一个
end.
很好的一
So
个忏悔
taking
的
refuge is a
这个方
great
法。
way
然后第
to
四个呢，就是
to
能
then
这个积累这个福德
make
这个
great
积累福德
confessions.
皈依的话呢，意思就是说呢，
The
我们
next
通过
one it
皈
says
依
that
呢
you will
有
possess
些这个
vast
本来就是
merit.
这个身体不好，但是他一定
The
会是长福
mundane
的。
merits of
有
long
些呢
life,
可能
even for
这个
those of
它的
people who
怎么讲啊，
didn't
就是
start
这种
with
相貌
good
都不是很
health.
庄严的，但是呢，慢慢就是
And
皈依
then
过以后呢，就是逐渐
splendor
逐
and
渐很多福报
majestic
都已经积累
dignity
了，
or
就
even
这样之后
beautiful
呢，就
looks.
越来越今生来世的就是相貌端严了。
There
然后
are
有些
people who
这个
didn't
财富
start
啊、健
off
康啊
with a
等
good
等，
look,
凡
but
是我们今
after
生当中
practicing
的，
the
包括
Dharma,
你的
their
名声啊、你的这个家
appearance
里
in
的
this
这个和
lifetime
平
and
啊，
next
然后
lifetime will
身
be
体的
more
这种
pleasant.
健康啊，确实有时候
So
这个佛教我是这
I
样
think,
想的，也许可能你们不知
well,
道，就是有没
I
有这
don't
种
know if
感受
you
过。
have the
凡是
similar feeling,
就
but
经常呢，就是
my
这
personal
个祈祷
feeling
这
is
个
that
三宝啊，就
if
是
you
祈
could
祷三宝，然后
supplicate
呢，
and
就是
pray
自
to
己
the
念
three
念经啊，
jewels,
让身中
if
念
you
念经
could
啊，然后
chant
自己
some
好好
of
的这
the
个祈祷啊，
sutras
就是
and the
安住啊，
mantras, if
这
you
样以
could
后才
practice
对身
meditation
体上
and
面、在
practice
精神上面、
abiding,
在整个生活
then
当中的，包括修行里面的很多
lots
的
of
障碍呢，就是
obstacles,
自然而
lots
然
of
减除，
problems
很多福报
just
呢，很
naturally
明
get
显的就
eased.
是。
Lots
就
of
就
merits
开
would
始
naturally
转
then
了，就
increase.
比如说我可能会出现，我们其实实践当中有很多
In
病人呢，
fact,
就是他就
many
一心一意皈依以后
patients
的话呢，
after
后来
they
就
take
身体健
refuge,
康了。然后有些
they
人呢，可能
then
是包括
get
有些
healthier.
欠债啊，就打官司啊，就很多
There
特
are
别
people who
特别
then
不顺的一些事情
have
呢，就是通过皈依以后，就
courts,
是马上就
have
马上
court
就
suits
顺了。
and
然后有些呢，就是
have
包括
lots
家
of
里的这个感情不好啊，就是
difficulties
这样
with
天天吵吵
the
闹闹的话呢，
family,
就
lots
是
of
能够都皈依佛
quarrels
教以后的话呢，
among
就是从
the
此之后这
family
个
members,
整个
and
战争
after
呢，
they
就是
take
全部
all
已经
take
平息了，
refuge,
就是
then
再
they
也
stop
再也
fighting
没有
with one
战争的
another.
名场，就
There's
是更
no
不用
more
说是什么
fighting
大
and
炮啊，
no
就
more
是什么就是所
quarreling
有的这种
anymore.
这个枪战啊，就是这些都没有。所以说，我们很多人的这种不平呢，就
In
是
fact,
靠这个三宝
lots
的这
of
种
your
威力也是能
mental
获得的。这是第
instabilities or
第四个呢，就是应该
inequalities
是
can
福
be
德啊，
then
就是增上
pacified
的。
by
那么
taking
第五个呢，就
refuge.
是皈依以后呢，
And
就是说
the
任何非
merit
人
would
的这个干
arise
扰
and
就
everything
就
would
可
get
以消失。
more
啊，
smooth
就是我们
with
这
your
个依靠
mundane
这个
life.
皈依三宝
And the
的话
fifth
呢，
one
就
is
是
that
在
you will
在
be
生活当中，
immune
我
to
们有时
attack
候
by
是贵人
humans
啊、贵
and
神啊，
non-humans.
现在有些说是啊，这个
And
不
immune
能
to
承
the
认这样，
obstacles
这
of
是迷
this
信的，
life.
其实不是迷信
When
的。
I talk
包
about
括我们做恶
non-human,
魔啊，就是
there are
有时
people
候是
who
这个
could
身体不
feel
好、
that,
疾病啊，这样
well,
很多说
this
是迷信
is
的人，他
very
自己生病的时候
superstitious.
经常去念经，就是
In fact, the kind of
真的
people who
以
said
以
that
前就是很多人啊，
Buddhism
这
is
些都是不行
superstitious
的，但是他
whenever
自己遇到危
they
险的时候
encounter
呢，就是
difficulties
他
and
就开始
whenever
这
they
个求
encounter
求佛
bad
求
health
天，就
or
是这
even
样的。
nightmares,
然
they
后
would
其
go
实
and supplicate
通过皈依以
to
后
the
呢，就是真
bodhisattvas
的
or
这个我们看不到的，就是非人的这
or
种
the
干
three
扰啊，还有
jewels.
很多的这个实践当中的这个
When
这
there
个
are
危害啊，
different
就是这些都
different
是
kind
消
of
失的。就前几年不
obstacles
是有个
arise.
那个就是念皈依三宝的人的话，那
In
就是鬼
fact,
神都在
when
桥上
people
跑
could
出
chant
走
the name
跑去了嘛。
and chant
所
the
以还是
refuge vow of
我们以
taking
前晚
refuge
上有
in
时
the
候是
three
一
jewels,
个
and
人不
then
敢走路，
all
就是
the
黑暗里的时
non-humans,
候
all
呢，
the
就是经常
ghosts
就是
and
拉嘛拉掉
all
三
the
球给了
demons would run away. And
变
when
得
you
拉
are
掉三
walking
球
in the dark,
一
what you
遍
could
念
do
一遍。
is just kind of glaring
然后
around and to chant that Lamala Kyabsum Chu, which is
那天我
taking
们
refuge
去
to
我
the
家乡的
Lama
时候，
and
那
then
个路不太
taking
好，
refuge to the
那
Dharma,
路不太好
the
的话，
Buddha and the
那
Dharma
个
and the Sangha
那
and
那
so on.
个当时是
When
我
I
们找了
went
一个另外一个
to
世纪，就是那个世纪的技术
When
也
I
不是
went
很
to
好。
my
然
hometown
后
the
我
other
后
day,
面
the
做了
road
一
was
个这
really
个
bad. It was
也
terrible
是我们那边的
road
一个喇嘛。
condition.
然后那个路不太
And
好的时候，
then
他就大
the
声的念经，我就更紧张了。
the driver was not so the driver was not so skillful
他念
either,
皈
and
依
there was a lama sitting at the
然
back
后
of the
好像
seat,
那
and
个那个世纪
the
的话，我
driver
更紧
was
张，就
the driver, and then the lama was chanting, taking refuge through the three
所以我
jewels
们
because
这
he
个
was
有时
scared,
候
and the
就
driver
是
got
依靠
even
这
more
样。
nervous and started turning the wheels
然后
left
到到
and
那个
right.
比较平的地方的时候，大家都
When we finally arrived somewhere that's rather flat, everyone
这
felt
样的，
much
这是
more
皈依
relaxed
的这
and
种
felt
这个
more
就
at
铲除这
peace.
个任何非人的这种
Anyhow,
危害。
by chanting and by
第六个
taking
工作的
refuge
话
in the
呢，
three
就
vows,
皈依
you'll be
和
able to
就是
then
应该是杨华生大师说
get
的是这个心想
immune
事
to
成，
attacks by
就是
human
你
and non-humans.
发愿呢
So the
依
sixth
然
one
成
talks
真
about
的
when
本
genuine
本来我
taking
们实践
refuge
当
has
中呢，自
arisen in
己
your being,
所
it is
爱的这个
impossible
所
not
希
to
望的呢，
accomplish
就是
whatever
经
you
常这个
intend.
言语，自己不
Usually,
愿意得到的呢，就是
in
经常
this
这个报
lifetime,
应
what
中，
we
就
encounter, the
在
kind of
这个途
suffering
上
that we
降临。
encounter is that
那么
whatever
如果
we
你
love
就是
would
经常这
often
个皈依啊，就是祈祷的话
depart
呢，
from us,
那
and
其实
whatever
许许多多
we
自己的夙
really
愿呢，自然
avert
而然
to
之
would get
让这
close
个
to
获
us.
得啊，不
But
管是
after
这
taking
个你
refuge,
的这
then
个物
you'll
质
be
上
able
面也
to
好，人方面也好，财富
get
方面，包
closer
括
to
就是
whatever
你
you
想得
want
到的这
and
个一切的这
get
个实
further
现
away
和初
from
实
what
践
you
的这
don't
些功
want.
德呢，自然
So
而然会
after
得到
taking
的。
refuge, the
实际上
merit
第七个
of
功
in
德
this
的话呢，
lifetime
就是
and
说
in this
应该是
mundane
不度恶
life,
趣啊，就
world,
皈依
mundane
三宝的
worldly
人呢，
life
再
as
怎么
well
样
as
也是
transcendent
不
life,
会这
you'll
个
be
堕入地
able
狱
to
恶鬼旁生
to
当中。就是
fulfill
尤其
your
是
wishes
迷死的
just
死的，因为
through
三宝没有
practice of the just through taking refuge vows. The next one is that you will not fall into evil the destinations or perverted paths, or the three lower realms. There are people who've practiced lots of non-virtuous deeds, but at the moment of death, even if you can just take refuge at the moment of death, then you won't fall into the three lower realms. This is the Vajra, or the indestructible, the truthful words told by the Buddha. The next one said that which is the eighth one, it says that through the final benefit is that the thrift attaining of true and complete enlightenment, the 5 stages and 10 bhumis. So through such kind of practice and such kind of method, I really think for those of you who have mind and heart, you would know the merit of taking refuge and would know the importance of taking notes. Pontsuk Rinpoche's video of the teaching that we watched the other day, the peace instruction of my heart, where Pontsuk Rinpoche give the refuge vow. Why it is called the sacred peace instruction of my heart? Lots of practitioners, in fact, they pursue the high teachings from the very beginning. In fact, that's really not wise. What you need to do is to follow the practice, follow the step that is then take refuge, then give rise to the mind of renunciation, and then generate the wisdom of non-duality, and then the practice of generation and practice and perfection stage, and then the Mahayati. Many schools in the West, they practice Mahayati every day. They would ask the students to practice Ati every day, and when I asked them about some very basic understanding of Buddhism, they had no idea, and at least they don't have that much of an understanding of it. Nowadays, the young people, they don't really want to worship idol, but to take refuge to the Dharma is to take refuge to the Dharma that is the truth. And to take refuge to the Sangha is to take refuge to the accomplished and realized masters, including Bodhisattvas, There are people who read some news about some negative news about the monastics. They would lose faith in taking refuge in the Sangha. And I think that's probably because of the tendency of easily to receive the negative information than the positive. Anyhow, to take refuge in the Buddha is to take refuge to the one who've already realized the truth. To take refuge of the Dharma is to take refuge of the truth, and to take refuge of the Sangha is to then take refuge of the ones who are also treading on the path of pursuing the truth. In that way, you can see we're in fact not the ones who are very superstitious or foolish. In fact, we can be called the ones who've already embodied the great wisdom to tread on this path. This is the path that's tread by the ones with great wisdom. From the academic point of view, from the mundane point of view, we should then understand from such aspect for the Buddhists who have great faith, you can then understand taking refuge just as taking refuge in the Buddha Shakyamuni, to the Dharma, the teachings that taught by the taught by
就
Buddha
是背
Shakyamuni,
的什么
and
就
the
特别多
Sangha,
的，
the
这一
all
方
the
面可能
Sangha
没有信仰的
members
人
over
看
here,
起
all
来这个
the
人就是好痛
realized
苦啊，
ones.
就拿了好多佛像
I
佛
say
吧，
that
但
there are
实际
people
上呢
who have
自己
great
还
faith.
是
They
有一
carry
种内
lots of
信的这个
rupas or the
就
statues
真
of
正的这个佛
the
像的这
Buddha
个功
or
德那么
the
大，法宝的
different
功德
kinds
那么
of
大，然后这个
bodhisattvas
我们
and
有了
lots
这
of
样的这种
textbooks.
必须有
People
开
who
光的
do
一个
not
价
have
值
any
的，然后
faith,
自己呢
then
就是也是
they
特别喜欢就是这
feel
样的
this
佛
is
像
so
的话
strange.
呢，
Why are you
那
carrying so much
你
stuff?
你这
And
个拉到自己的
in
佛
fact,
堂，
I
拉到
think
自
this
己
is
的
quite
这个
good.
单
It
位里
shows
面，
that
就
you
是
have
经常
faith.
就是去拜啊，去跪呀，这样的话呢，其
You
实
can then
间接来讲的话呢，
also
我们的这个精神就是充实了很多啊，就
place
是
a
并
Buddha
不是
statue
我
or
们现在有
have
些人所讲
Dharma
的啊，这个
textbooks
人
with
很
you.
信
You
啊，
can
很
then
密啊，就是
chant
就不是
during
这
your
样的。
spare
应该从
time
某种
to
意义上，
worship
人
or
就
to
是除了物
supplicate
质
at
以
your
外呢，就
spare
是还有
time
一个
to
精神的
chant
这个层面。
mantras
这个
and
精神
so
的层
on.
面如果完全
From other
空了的话
people's
呢，那物质再
aspect,
多，就是对
from
你
your
来讲
own
可能
point
是
of
真
view,
的
in
是很
fact,
空虚
you
的。
are
我
no
们经
longer
常看到
void in
特
your
别有
spirit,
钱的
in
人，
your
特别
spirit,
有
in
这
your
个福
mind
报的人，
anymore.
可是呢，就是很多人的怎么样，就是他精神
There
是
are
特别
people who have
无聊、
lots of
痛苦
money,
啊，就
but
无奈，就是
they have so
晚
much
上每天都
void
是
in
就是
their
吃安
heart.
眠药啊，
They
就
have
这。我们
lots
表面
of
上看到为什么
anxiety.
就是
They
他
have
住
lots
的那
of
么好，
things
就
that
是
they
就是
worry
为什么
about.
这样？就是其实也并不是这样
Even，
所以我
if
们
they
在这个
live in
世
great
界当中
mansion,
的话呢，有时候是
they have
确实很
insomnia.
需要这个真理。这种真理呢，就是与
So
三宝有关的真理
taking
的话呢
refuge
我
is
觉
to
得是
take
就非
refuge
常有意义
in
的。那么
the
这样的话
three
呢，就是
jewels
今天我们
and
先就
to
是
study the
看一下
truth
这个法
and
王维宝
to
这个
then
南天的
fulfill
这
your
个我们的这个
spirituality.
短视频里面
So
的
now
这
let's
个
watch
当
a
时
short
的一个
clip by Ponce
这
Rinpoche
个片段吧，就是
when he was
稍微看
giving
一下，我
refuge
也
vow,
会
and I can drink some water.
Lama kyapsum cho,
Lama la gyapsu chiwo,
sangi kyapsum cho,
Sangye la gyapsu chiwo,
shula kyapsum cho,
Chu la gyapsu chiwo,
gendan kyapsum cho,
Genden la gyapsu chiwo,
lama kyapsum cho,
Lama la gyapsu chiwo,
sangi kyapsum cho,
Sangye la gyapsu chiwo,
shula kyapsum cho,
Chu la gyapsu chiwo,
gendan kyapsum cho,
Genden la gyapsu chiwo,
lama kyapsum cho,
Lama la gyapsu chiwo,
sangi kyapsum cho,
Sangye la gyapsu chiwo,
shula kyapsum cho,
Chu la gyapsu chiwo,
gendan kyapsum cho.
Genden la gyapsu chiwo. Now all of you have received the refuge vows. From this moment onward, you may call yourself a Buddhist.
那我们现场
Now,
也是有些
I
朋友
know
是
some of you also want to take a refuge vow,
我在那个
so I'm going to give you the refuge vow
就主
again
要
as
是
well.
自己想这个获得
Mainly
人
for
天
those
福
of
报
you
这样
who
想的不义
want
的
to
话
take
呢，
refuge
这
vow
叫做我
because
们
you
这个
want to
人
gain
天
the
成的
merit
不义
to
让自
enjoy the
己想获
humanly
得
and
的那个
godly or
就是成
celestial
就远离一切轮
enjoyments,
回
then that is
远
taking
离轮回的
refuge
痛苦
of
或者寂灭的这种
then
生活
the
的话呢，这
of
个
the
叫
lower
做
capacity.
中师道的
And
这
for
个
those of you
如果我
who
们
want
就
to
是发愿
then
就是
gain
天天
self
下的
personal
功德都要去
liberation
度
from
化
the
为了这
samsara,
样的这
then
种
this is
目
called
标
the
呢而皈依的话呢，就是
taking
这个叫
refuge
做
of
是大乘
the
的皈依，
capacity of
说
the
你自己
medium.
呢最
And
好
for
是
those
这
of you
个
who want
为
to
天
then
下的众
take
生
this
而皈依
refuge
三
for
宝，
all
这
the
样是
sentient
非常好的
beings
那么我
to
现
get
在也
liberated,
是
be
跟大家
liberated
念
from
念
samsara.
念
This is a
拉
high
玛拉叫什么求？
refuge. Repeat after
桑杰
me.
拉叫什么求？苏拉叫什么求？阿根登拉叫什么求？拉玛拉叫什么求？桑杰拉叫什么求？苏拉叫什么求？阿根登拉叫什么求？拉玛拉叫什么求？桑杰拉叫什么求？苏拉叫什么求？阿根登拉叫什么求？他不用弄。法王如意
Ponce
把刚才那
Rinpoche
个
in the video, he said that from now onwards you've already received the the vow of refuge, and from today onwards you are already a genuine, a true Buddhist. Therefore, from today, the ones who are present, the ones who are online, you are already a genuine Buddhist. For those of you who never received a Buddhist name, what you can do is then you can add a yuan in front of it, which means perfect. And then you can pick a name for yourself, whatever you want to name yourself. That will be your Dharma name. So this is refuge, taking refuge. We've talked about the merit of taking refuge. And recently we've been chanting the name of Kshitigarbha. The name is Mahasattva Kshitigarbha. You probably listen to it every day. Sometimes the speaker is really loud. But anyhow, those were the chantings of the name of Kshitigarbha. I really think it is quite important to chant the name because Kshitigarbha fulfills all the wishes of the sentient beings, especially for the ones who are poor. Then he will grant you with wealth. For the ones who have lots of afflictions in your mind, he will then grant you blessings so that you'll be such suffering and afflictions will be pacified. In the four Dharma assemblies in Larungar, this is one of the particular chanting or Dharma assembly that's hosted in Larungar. I think back in 1997, Pongsu Rinpoche went to Yunnan or Guilin, somewhere south in China. Pongsu Rinpoche over there chanted this. Someone then offered a jewel, and he said, "This is a jewel from the Naga's palace." But at that time, maybe because Pongsu Rinpoche, out of the cause and out of auspicious cause and conditions, he wanted to create such auspicious cause, he was then manifesting in such a way that he was very pleased, and then he started chanting the name of Kshitigarbha. I think the video was 3 minutes, therefore I will play that, and then after that I will give a short teaching after that too.
不知道3天吧。
And at the end, something really short. Today, the refuge vow that you received is extremely important. According to the words of my perfect teacher, it stated that Atisha, when he first came to Tibet, he gave refuge vow and taught refuge vow. And the Tibetan people said that, well, you're such a famous Bhantita, then why are you teaching such a simple teaching such as refuge vow? This is not good, because everyone started calling you the refuge Bhantita. And upon hearing this, Atisha at that time said, in a great pleasure, said that was wonderful, because without understanding refuge, without understanding taking refuge, how could anyone build on top of Buddhism or study or tread on the path of Buddhism at all? Therefore, this is the biggest compliment to me to call me refuge Bhantita. So, my hope to you today is for you to make an aspiration of saying that you are going to then be a Buddhist for this lifetime, for all lifetimes. In fact, this is not difficult. It's just as saying that I want to be a good person. This is not difficult for this lifetime. Till the time you die, you make such vow that you will be a firm and unchanging Buddhist. And whenever you see any of the holy sites, make aspirations, make supplication. In fact, our mind is very different. Is very important. If you want to have a firm and steady faith, this is quite important, especially nowadays. There are so many changes in the big cities, and it could really transform. It could really change you from time to time. But from today, even if one person gives rise to such firm faith and such firm aspiration and vow, then I think my class was worth it. In fact, taking refuge vow, it's a vow. It's making a promise. Do not give up this promise. Do not give up your vow. And continuously to develop such firm faith. So that's the first aspect I want to say. And second faith is that the second point is that we do not have the power like Atisha to give refuge vows. However, I really hope you can then spread the
正能量，
positive
就是真正
energy
的这样的
that
这个
you've
三
learned
这个
from
三宝的话呢，
Buddhism
让大家
that
会
you've
确
gained
实
from the 3
就
jewels.
对他们还是亲身来说是
Because
非常
such
有意义
positive
的，因为
energy
能会
is
当中的
extremely
众生是
important
很
for
痛苦的，
the
如果没有
sentient
会
beings
寄生
in
当
this
中离开
lifetime
人
and
间的话呢，
next.
非常可惜。所以呢，大家还是应该尽
Lots
量
of
就是
people
有
are
责任感，有责任
having
心。
so
什
much
么就
afflictions
是
and
哪怕是一
sufferings
个
in
人
their
在自己的
lifetime.
一辈子当中，如果
Therefore,
劝
I
一个
think it's
人
quite
皈依三宝的
important
话
to
呢，
have
我觉
such
得这个功德是不可思议的。
responsibility,
就是
such
这
a
是
mind of
我的这个
responsibility to
第二
spread
个
such kind of
这个希
positive
望也好。
energy to
然后
others.
第三个希望
That's
的
my
话呢，
second hope
就
to
是
you.
我
And
们
the
这
third
个
hope
多
is
看一
that
些就是关于这个就是三宝
to
方面的
read
就
more
像包信人那样的，
into
就是
the
讲比较深的道理，或
profound
者是其他的，
teachings
包
of
括
the
莲花生
three
的一些
jewels,
这
such as
个
Uttara
教化
Tantra
这个
Shastra,
这些就空
such
性教法里面
as
呢，有
the
很多皈依三
teachings
宝的
given
就
by
是
Pama
特别
Sambhava,
详细的
where
抄
he
记。
gave lots
希
of
望呢，
pith
就是大家
instructions
用
about what
通
three
过这种
jewels
方式
and
来就是应
how
该
to
是
take
了
refuge
解
vow
就是
and
皈
so
依三
on,
宝
the
的
meaning
真
of
实的
it.
这个功德，这样以后
And
呢，
then
就
you will
自他
be
的
able
这个
to
获得
have
真正的这种
to
快乐。
accumulate
好，
great
我们
merits.
今天呢就是讲
And
到这
today
里。
we'll stop here.